So let me first start by saying if I wasn't being threatened with physical violence by my daughter-in-law, I wouldn't be standing in front of this camera. Anybody who knows me knows that. First became aware of the river because my uncle, who was an attorney in Cadillac, had a small canoe rental over on the river. So it was in the back of my head to see it as soon as I could. I'd heard the good things I'd heard about it. A couple of young guys were just young teenagers, 14 or 15 years old. A couple of us in the neighborhood used to run around picking up 2 and 3 cent deposit bottles so we could save enough money to pay another neighbor who had at the time a driver's license. He was 16 years old, so that he would bring us out here and we could first see this mighty Pine River. And so yeah, no, I'd have been a young teenager when I first saw the river, 14, 15 years old, and absolutely fell in love with it when I did. Came out, and the memory is we paddled Peterson Bridge to Low Bridge, our first trip, and couldn't have had a better time, and couldn't wait to come back again. Well, my immediately older brother, Mike, a year older than I am, had worked for my uncle up on the Manistee River for a few years, and sounded like fun stuff to me, and so that was in the back of my head when I graduated from high school. Didn't have a clue what I was going to do work-wise or career-wise, and turned out my uncle needed help running a livery on the Pine River, and so I went to work for him the year I got out of high school. So I didn't have aspirations about owning a canoe rental. I sure enjoyed the work the summer I got out of high school. I knew I'd had enough of school, that college was not in my future, and I determined I wanted to work outdoors. So it helped that I had that opportunity to A, first work at the canoe rental, and B, buy into it, and C, eventually own it. But yeah, no, I didn't know what I wanted to do. That direction wasn't there. Had a little bit of keel in my life, and just knew that I wanted to work outdoors. So, after having worked for my uncle the summer I got out of high school, he approached me about buying into his canoe rental. And with the help of my father, I did just that the following summer. He co-signed a loan for me so I could become a quarter owner in his brother's canoe rental on the Pine. And his youngest son, a cousin of mine named Ben, was also a quarter partner by virtue of him having run it for my uncle for a few years. He became a quarter partner, and after that first summer of being in the partnership, we each decided that we all wanted out or in, and decided to put sealed bids and envelopes, and it was determined that whoever would have the highest bid would end up owning the canoe rental. The other two partners would pay a sum halfway between their bid and the high bid to facilitate that. And so, not by design, but by accident more, I became the owner of the canoe rental. Yeah, so the name of the canoe rental that my uncle had operated for years on both the Manistee and the Pine River was Chippewa Landing. And when I, curiously enough, and again, very much by accident, became the owner of the Pine River, Chippewa Landing, I decided to change the name just to start with a new identity, and struggled with the name. Everything I thought of that was culturally appropriate, I just found fault with, and thank God my mother, whose home I was living in that winter, came up with an idea when I was so frustrated I didn't care what the name was, and she said, Mark, why don't you take your first and middle names and throw them together and call it Merrick's? And that was good enough for me. God bless her soul. And so that winter, when I became owner of the canoe rental and wanted to start anew, I decided to call it Merrick's. It was this to pay homage to my mother and move forward. Continued to operate where Castelwood's restaurant and party store presently is, being a lessor there. I had a 5-year lease with them, and when that lease expired, I had to find a new location because they wanted to expand their store. So in 1978, I bought a farm 4 miles east on 50 Mile Road and moved the canoe rental there. And a lot of my dear friends that were once customers will remember renting their craft from me in the big red hay barn that was one of the structures from an old subsistence farm in Hoxeyville, from where I operated for years. So yeah, I moved the canoe rental up to the old hay barn, again, that folks will remember. And absolutely cherished being so welcomed into the community. In the 70s, the paddle sport business was rapidly growing in the neighborhood. And it was so wonderful to be a part of that, and again to have been welcomed by the locals, and I mean every one of them, and thoroughly enjoyed all of a sudden finding myself being an employer, hiring local kids to help me out to facilitate magical experiences on this incredible slice of creation. So yeah, no, back then the only canoes, there was no such thing as a kayak, okay, and all the canoes were aluminum, no such thing as plastic, and so things have certainly changed over the years, and very much for the better in many ways. There's been some negatives too, with too much regulation. It's really compromised our communities, what was once a vibrant tourism-based economy. Now we've lost so many jobs because of the well-intentioned but overbearing regulation. So as years unfolded, again, it was 1978. I bought the farm in Hoxeyville to move the canoe rental to Merrick's to, and 12 years later, I found myself having a family and buying another canoe rental from Carl Fertelko, who had become a very dear friend. Again, one of these guys that so welcomed me to the community, and ended up buying his canoe rental from him. And when I did that, and with family, decided we had to get a better location. Location means a lot, you know, and so bought a few parcels up on M37, Highway M37, and with that move, decided to change the name to the Pine River Paddlesports Center, aspiring to do more than just rent canoes and kayaks, which I was now buying. And to build a campground and hopefully become a venue, more of a destination for several outdoor recreations. Hence the name change to the Pine River Paddlesports Center. And so now, thank God, after having rented paddlecraft and serving the best customers on the planet, you know, for what's now 51 years, I am so fortunate. Like, words can't describe. Words just cannot describe how lucky I am that my son and daughter-in-law are interested in the business and want to put me out to pasture so I can go play a little bit. And I'm just so blessed. Again, words can't describe. I hope that they'll keep me around once in a while to fabricate a few trailers and get in the way when I can, or when they need me to. But it's going to be fun transitioning the business to them.
So yeah, I mean, I obviously grew up there. A lot of you know me, saw me grow up, and man, it was never my intention to want to take over the livery. I never desired that. Kind of growing up, you know, I was always there. I always had to work. As a little kid, you know, I was picking up litter and sweeping the driveway and sweeping the sidewalks, and Dad was always busy, and you know, trying to provide a better life for us. And I thought, man, I don't want that. And all my friends, you know, they get the weekends off and they get the summer off, and here I am working, and they're out doing fun stuff. And But now, I mean, now looking back, I mean, it's just what an awesome childhood. I really appreciate it now, and well, the same for my kids, our kids. So
We want him to work.
yeah, we wanted to work. It was a fun place to grow up. Looking back now, and so yeah, we started dating. Eleni came into the picture
2012.
2012. Started working in the office, and still, I did not desire to take it over at all.
I loved it when I started working.
Yeah.
I loved delivery. I loved Mark. Had a thing for Mark's son. It was great.
So yeah, then we dated, and Lainey graduated from Hillsdale
In 2016. Got married and graduated in May 2016. Got married in June of 2016 on the Pine. And we still didn't want delivery. We had talked about it, and we were like, no, Jake said I don't want it. I said, that's fine. I'm not going to push it. I wanted it because I loved it. And but I said, no, that's fine. So I graduated in May, got married in June, started working for Baker College in Cadillac in July of 2016. And I was administrative assistant, and I hated it. It was like running a cheese grater across my forehead for 8 hours a day, and I hated it. And I remember just being so drained when I would get home from work. I would only work 8 hours, and I would be thinking, what in the world? I work 12 hours at the livery easy, and I feel a lot more energized and happy than this. What's wrong with me? And so that was just a big time of thinking, what should we do with our lives? I don't want to work at an office job the rest of my life. And then in September of 2016, we bought Hoxie. I don't know if you can see Hoxie in the frame behind us.
but you all know him.
But Hoxie, we bought Hoxie, and he's kind of been like our child because we don't have kids yet. And I remember being so jealous when I was at work that Jake would send me pictures of him and Hoxie, and I remember being so jealous that he gets to hang out with my puppy. And I thought, Eleni, if you are this jealous over a dog, imagine how much more you're going to be upset when you have children and you can't be at home with them. And I was homeschooled my whole life. That has been a huge defining quality of my life. I am so grateful and thankful for my parents for doing that, and I really wanted to give that to my kids. So Jake and I started racking our brains for what can we do from home? What kind of business can we have that we can run together, that we could raise our kids together? That was really our decision, our reason for trying to figure out something that we could do together. Is we want to raise our kids together. That was one of the most important things to us. And I remember one day he came into town, came in Cadillac, and I remember it vividly. We ate at Bob Evans together, and for lunch, I was on lunch break from my fun job, and and I remember telling him, I said, Jake, we've been racking our brains for business we could do together from home, not necessarily from home, but just together. I said, what if God is saying hello, like has a giant billboard at PRPC going, I already provided it for you, this is an established business, established clientele, you guys are good at it, you guys like it. And I ran that by Jake, and Jake said, honey, I think you might be right. And so that kind of took us into dreaming and thinking, and we approached Mark about it, and he was ecstatic. He was very pleased because he knew that we didn't want it for a long time. So he was very happy to see that we came to our senses and wanted to also work outside the rest of our lives. So yeah, the last few years have just been a lot of thinking about what we want to do with the business, what direction we want to take it. Making Hoxie the mascot. I think we lost him.
He's swimming.
He's in the river. He's swimming. Perfect. He's full on swimming. Okay, he's swimming downstream now. Buddy, I think he's going across the river. Anyway, we will watch our children much more carefully, promise. He's pretty resilient. So, anyways, and he made it to the side of the river. Perfect.
So yeah, that's how we decided to. It's kind of where we want to raise our kids, and we love. Even if I didn't want to necessarily take over the livery, I love the customers, the people, getting to talk to everyone, all over the world. different countries, different cultures, different professions. Just really a neat environment to work, and to be able to do it with Eleni. You know, I love her dearly, and we work together great. And I mean, how lucky are we that this opportunity existed where we can work together, and you know, we go home after a long day and we still want to hang out with each other, play a game, you know, we never
Grill out.
Yeah, grill out. We never get enough of each other.
Cook over the campfire.
It's it seems like it'd be a, I don't know, almost a dishonor not to do it.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity, and we are so thankful and happy that for this legacy that Mark has built through PRPC, and we're so thankful for the opportunity to get to try it out for ourselves and to be able to provide that for our children. I think it's really awesome, and we're super excited for the future and see what it holds. And Mark is still, don't freak out, Mark is still going to work at PRPC. But I am working on being the boss of him. Last year, I did fire him one day, and he came back the next day. So I'm not sure how to get him to leave. So he will still be there. I guarantee you. He's going to be around.
Yeah. And to you all, we are so thankful. Mark is so thankful. Because without you, none of this would have happened. You really are all awesome, and we love you. And
yes, you guys are the best customers. It's been, yeah, it's phenomenal. It's one of the best parts of having PRPC is all of you. So thank you so much. Axie's across the river. Look at him go. Come on, buddy. You swam over there. Come on, bud. Oh, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. There's a log.
Boy.
How will you deal with the log? Good boy. Come on, Haxie. Come on. Come on. Power swimmer.
Good boy.
Good boy, Haxie. Good boy. Come on, buddy. Come on.
There's a giant. Oh, okay. Good boy.
Come on, buddy. Oh, he's going to get right up in that thick stuff. Okay, he can.
Good boy.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.